Thank you for watching Scary Bear Attacks. If you like this episode, please remember to hit the like button and leave a comment or two, then subscribe and click on the bell to receive notifications of whenever we release new videos. Also, please remember to share them to your social media. Welcome back to Scary Bear Attacks. Today's episode takes us to central Sweden. A small town called Loosdal is the location of a government-sanctioned brown bear hunt. This area is very low in elevation, like the rest of the nation. The landscape here is dotted with ice-cold lakes and ponds that are filled each spring and summer with the snowmelt. Between the bodies of water are emerald stands of pine, spruce, and birch trees. Plants like currant, raspberries, plum, and cherry trees provide tasty seasonal fruits for animals as well as people. Where there is room for them to grow, bushes like willow, alder, and dogwood create hedgerows that hide moose, wild boar, and reindeer, as well as 3 different species of deer. The predators of this flat and forested land include lynx, wolves, wolverines, and brown bears. In northern Sweden, as with all of Europe, brown bears are under strict protection due to government policies that limit or ban hunting altogether. Although this has helped the struggling bears make a comeback in previously occupied areas, a conflict has arisen, pitting bears and native populations at odds. The protective policy is called the Habitats Directive and protects animals from being killed or hunted. It even protects them from being disturbed. However, there is a caveat that allows for the management of animal populations when they may damage crops, forests, or livestock herds. In the northern parts of Scandinavian countries, including Norway, Sweden, and Finland, there is an indigenous population of people known as the Sami. They've herded reindeer here for thousands of years and currently own around 280,000 head through 1,000 different companies. The Sami have a culture that is very compatible with their environment and closely ties their subsistence to the reindeer herds they manage. Every part of the reindeer is used in one way or another according to Sami traditions. Supporters of the concept of sustainability point to cultures like the Sami as perfect examples of sustainability. The tribes have begun to host tourists to demonstrate their way of life and strengthen their rights and ties to the land. As government policies protecting brown bears have successfully shielded them from hunting, the bears have returned to predating on game animals they find in their territory. This has developed into a conflict between the government, the Sami herdsmen, and brown bears. In the year 2022, scientists conducted research linking brown bear recovery and the impact it has and will have on the Sami culture. They tracked a single 13-year-old brown bear sow and found her to have killed 18 moose and 38 reindeer over the course of her life. The reindeer this sow and other brown bears have been killing have belonged to Sami reindeer herders, negatively affecting their ability to live and continue their culture. Seeking a balance between the needs of the Sami herdsmen and the brown bears, the government in Stockholm reintroduced brown bear hunting in 1943, which pared back brown bear population growth to 1.5% per year. The permits issued to Swedish hunters, which allows them to harvest and hunt brown bears, are very few and highly sought after. In 2023, brown bear populations in Sweden had experienced a rapid increase, which caused the government to approve a culling hunt. A historically high total of 649 brown bear permits were issued this year to hunters across the nation. 2 hunters who were lucky enough to acquire brown bear hunting permits were a father and son duo, whom we will refer to as Lars and Anders. On Monday, August 21, 2023, Lars had led his son, Anders, to the forests around Loosdal in search of brown bears. The hunters had found a sow brown bear and were following her tracks as she meandered through the brush. The Eurasian brown bear is not as large as their relatives in the Russian Far East or in North America, so this 300-pound sow was fairly typical of brown bears in the area. As the hunters carefully followed her tracks through muddy meadows, they noticed her tracks appeared to be more recent as they pursued her. They knew they were getting close to her, but the thick plant life limited visibility to under 30 meters in most places. Upon entering a small grassy meadow, the hunters were terrified to see the sow they had been following had turned the tables on them. She was now quickly closing the distance between herself and the hunters at an alarming speed. Anders watched as the sow focused her anger on his father. The young man was only 15 years old and was clearly unsure of exactly what he should do in this situation. Anders and Lars yelled at the bear, trying to force her into veering off and stopping her attack on them. But this sow had other ideas, and tackled Lars to the ground as his son watched in horror. The speed of the brown bear was so overwhelming that she was upon his father before Anders could react. he watched as the sow knocked his father onto his back and pinned him down using her paws. She rapidly bit and swatted him, ripping his flesh in several places, seemingly all at once. Her paws were moving so quickly that it was difficult for either man to see which paw did what during the attack. Anders knew the anguish cries of his father, and the damage the bear was doing must be stopped. Anders felt a rush of adrenaline, and that apparently summoned his inner warrior. The young man boldly ran over to the bear and let fly the most powerful haymaker he could muster. The punch landed squarely on the side of the bear's head and was immediately followed by another and another. The battered Bruin was likely confused by the defense Anders presented. Given that violence is an everyday part of brown bear existence, she quickly turned her aggression toward the boy. Watching a brown bear move with speed is a surreal experience. Ask anyone who has watched them gallop across a sage meadow as fleetly as any horse, and they will confirm this. The sow turned on Anders in the flash of an eye and knocked him to his back, just the way she did his father. As Anders stretched his hand toward the bear's face to ward off her shiny yellow teeth, she clamped her jaws onto his wrist. With a single toss of her head, she shattered the young man's wrist, rendering his arm limp and useless in his own defense. As soon as Lars watched the sow leave him and begin moving toward his son, he scrambled toward his hunting rifle. The sow had closed on the hunter so quickly through such dense cover that he hadn't even had time to fire a shot at her. Lars managed to shoulder his rifle despite the gashes in his flesh the sow had inflicted upon him. He carefully aimed at the sow, which was now standing over Anders and preparing to tear him limb from limb. Lars fired his rifle, and his bullet imparted its deadly force on the sow's rib cage. The father's aim was true, and it wasn't but a few seconds before the bear fell over as proof. His son was safe, though injured. As the hunters gathered themselves, Lars pulled his cell phone out and called the organizer of the hunt, Jonny Sjölbom. He immediately notified first responders, and the two hunters were quickly taken to Norrland University Hospital in the town of Umeå via medical helicopter. During the attack, Lars received serious lacerations to his face from the brown bear sow's swats and was in serious condition in the hospital. Her claws tore big gashes wherever they contacted his flesh. Anders suffered several bites on his arm, and his wrist was severely broken. The damage done to his wrist was treated with emergency surgery. Jonny was quoted as saying that Lars was very tough, physically and mentally. He had no concerns about his recovery. Jonny was more concerned with Anders' recovery, given this traumatic experience had occurred at such a young age to the boy. Jonny also stated that it was very unusual for something like this to occur. To him it indicated that something had gone terribly wrong. But that isn't the end of conflicts between brown bears and humans in Sweden's hunting season of 2023. On Friday, August 25, 2023, in the county just to the north of the prior incident, two brown bear hunters closed in on a bear they had been tracking. They stalked very near to the bear and fired what they believed to be a lethal shot. The bear took exception to such an egregious turning of the tables. In an ambush eerily similar to the one executed on Lars and Anders, the two hunters were pounced upon by the brown bear in thick cover. Both hunters received deep lacerations to their arms during the attack, but I could find no source indicating their names, medical attention required to address their wounds, nor what happened to this bear. This attack happened just a few days after Lars and Anders' incident, and both are indicative of just how tough and aggressive brown bears can be when threatened or confronted by humans. In my opinion, Sweden has a proactive brown bear management plan that has clearly sought and achieved a balance in their population. I could find no source indicating that a hazing program exists to keep bears from human population centers, and annual hunts seem to do the trick. Brown bear populations in Sweden are currently estimated at between 1,600 and 2,800 individual bears. After reviewing the facts surrounding this episode, I have a few questions for you. Do you think that bear spray would have prevented these attacks? Given that bears can cover distances quickly, even in the densest of cover, is a hunting rifle an adequate self-defense tool? Do you agree with Sweden's brown bear population management plan allowing hunting? Do you think Anders will be relieved of his chores after defending his father from a deadly brown bear attack so bravely? I wouldn't even make him do his homework or eat his veggies for a year if I were his father. I will gladly read and respond to your thoughts, so please post them in the comments section below, and let's talk about it. Thank you for watching Scary Bear Attacks. If you've enjoyed this episode, please consider clicking on the like button and clicking on the bell icon. We'll help you know when we post our new episodes. Posting our video links to your social media profiles furthers awareness, and it's fun. We slashed our prices in our merch store, linked below, so check out the bargains there while you shop. As a member of our human community, remember to adventure bravely and be careful out there, especially in bear country.